What's going on, everybody? It is me, your boy Gilbert,
And me, Harry.
and it is another week of the Fulcrum Entertainment Podcast. We are going to be doing another review, and that's right, everyone. Last week we had the final episode of X-Men '97 come out, so you guessed it. We're going to be doing the Ninth Jedi. Yeah, which I joke, but it's like the sad thing before we get to this is that it's if you don't like us being like overly critical, you're probably not going to like this episode because the unfortunate fact is it just wasn't very good. Like, or at the very least, it wasn't as entertaining as I would have liked it to be. I think that the Star Wars Visions, like it's the shorts that we had in Star Wars Visions of this were a lot better than the actual series that they got made after the fact.
I do remember, I think last time that we talked about this on Star Wars Visions, I mentioned that I was really sad that of the shorts we saw in Star Wars Visions, I was quite sad that this is the one that got made into a full series on its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the Ronin or whatever the duel was right there. You could have made him into a whole series, and I would have watched the crap out of that. But I don't know. I think it's also the problem is the story, and we'll get into it as we go. But I think let's start off with the good stuff of it. The animation was nice. Voice actors were all cool. Like I thought the voice acting was good. There was a couple of really cool fight scenes, and like I didn't think anything was particularly bad. There was no AI. That's something you got to worry about. Yeah,
that there could be some article at some point that's like, it turns out that actually AI was used to make one like storyboard, and now the entire thing is destroyed.
I mean, as long as it's not the entire animation, because I'm getting tired of that crap. I've seen that on Instagram, but anyway, I digress. Sure. So was there like before we get into like the actual like criticism, what did you think? Like what did you like about the show, or anything that stood out to you that was all right?
It did some stuff that we're seeing a bit more of in Star Wars, which I like, which is being a bit more creative with lightsabers. It's not super more creative, so we had some moments in the Acolyte where we saw a lightsaber user turning their lightsaber on and off for certain, tactics and techniques, which was quite cool to see. The moment where that chick died was awesome in that show. Sorry, that's the vaguest way I could have described that. But if we talk about lightsabers, and you know the one I mean. But in this show, we sort of ramp that up a little bit more, and we see a character kind of be building that into their entire technique, and then doing some fun things with it. So I was like, that was awesome. And bringing a bit more of like the Force being used in actually wielding the lightsaber, talking about how she specifically does that. That was something that I enjoyed seeing. Other than that, it was fun when it felt like a little Lord of the Rings bit when everyone was elves and had pointy ears. That was nice. Yeah.
Everyone was elf.
And my space axe was kind of how that whole section felt.
When all the miners, they end up like, so during one of the episodes when Kara has to go, they're looking for allies and they have to go to like a bunch of space miners on like ships that are made out of asteroids, which was kind of cool. But yeah, so they had to go talk to them, and there's one part where she like pleads for help, and they're like, "I'll help you," and I, as will I, me too, and yeah, they're all kind of like elf people. That's also where we get the one of the main characters who becomes a Jedi later. I googled it, is Kwana, who was played by Keone Young, Mr. Wu to some.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, has been in a ton of stuff, and is in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
He's in American Dragon Jake Long. He was in a bunch of video games. He was in Star Wars Rebels actually as one of like the rebel commanders. He was in Dude, Where's My Car as Mr. Lee, the tailor. The guy has worked a lot. But so yeah, they got them. They got Masayoka, Simu Liu, Kimiko Glenn, I think is Kara. I think that's what we mentioned. You said she was, before we got on here, you said she was on Orange is the New Black?
Yes, I can't remember the name of her character in Orange is the New Black, but yeah, she's a young woman who is imprisoned, and she was like a protester or something. So she's very sort of very liberal, very like right on, and is a little bit destroyed by what happens in the prison. I think she has a relationship with Nikki. But I can't remember.
Right. Well, now I need to, looking at a picture of her, I need to go watch Orange is the New Black now.
I mean, yeah, you should watch Orange is the New Black. It's a fantastic show, and there are bonus boobs, so it's got that Game of Thrones deal going on with it.
It's a good show, and it also has tits.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So all right. So I guess I'm not gonna do the thing I usually do with Disney Plus, where I go every episode, because that's just gonna take for fucking ever. But we'll give the basic, broad strokes. It kind of picks up where the last last two episodes or whatever take off or left off. Like, they're looking for new Jedi. They go to at least a couple of different planets, and all the while there's this other dude. There's Nawam, who is like, he's not a Sith, but he's rolling with a guy who claims to be the last Sith. Can I talk about how bugged I am about that?
Yeah, go for it.
Like, the first episode of this, like the Ninth Jedi, that was like the little short that was on the very first Star Wars Visions, talked about how, like, it made it seem like the Jedi were, extinct from the galaxy. You've never seen them. You haven't seen them in a long time, or like only heard legends of them. But then this show is like, oh yeah, no, Nawam was one of the Padawans that was on this, was on B-Beam. Well, when we were trying to rebuild the fucking Order again, like, our master, he was building the Jedi Order, and fucking Lajima, he killed our master, and then the Jedi Order fell. I'm like, but that's, you guys said that like Lajima was like the only guy who figured out how to build a lightsaber, but then apparently he had a master who also had a lightsaber, and he was a Sith hunter, and he was taking out a bunch of Sith. I'm like, you guys made it sound like these guys were all gone, and no, suddenly they were here again. It bugs the crap out of me. Like, they can't pick a lane.
Yeah. I think you're right to be bugged by that. It's a bit of a, because I kept thinking that through the show and being like, I need to go back and like look at what the premise was for the Ninth Jedi, because I remembered it being, it's sort of long after the original trilogy, long after the prequel trilogy. It's far in the future, and yeah, the Jedi are supposed to be gone. There's a thing that Joru, one of our lead characters at the beginning of the show, I think, started to get kyber crystal's mind on his planet, so that they could start building lightsabers, so they could start having Jedi again, which feels a little odd. So it doesn't really explore that world building element of it, of, sort of, okay, so what happened? Did you still have Force users around, but they weren't training, they weren't like getting into like these orders of Sith and Jedi anymore? They were just sort of there, or did everyone just kind of forget about the Force, and we just sort of ignored it for a while?
Exactly. Like, I would have liked if they had focused more on that aspect of, like, the galaxy doesn't remember Jedi. A lightsaber is now something that is like a fantasy weapon that if anyone sees it, they did kind of have that, where whenever Juro would light up a lightsaber and people would see it, you'd see people be like, whoa, oh, it's a lightsaber, the kind of thing. But I would have liked more of that kind of, like, people, mythologizing the Jedi, because the very first planet they go to is like, oh, this guy used to be a Jedi. We're going to try to recruit him first. I'm like, what?
Yeah, the guy who's in charge, used to be a Jedi. And they're like, hey, come on, man, you used to be a Jedi. You're supposed to uphold all these things. And it's a little strange, because it's sort of, they're talking about the Jedi, but they don't have the formal structure of the Jedi. So they don't seem to be the same kind of rules. And it's like, I don't know. It's weird, because it's sort of like, oh, it seems weird that this Jedi is now in charge of a planet, like he now rules, or at least the city state that he's in. Like, how did he get to be there? It also is something that we'll touch on. It's repeating story beats or just things we've already seen before over and over again. So I'm like, oh, okay, so he's like a less evil Count Dooku. So what was a Jedi, then goes to be in charge of stuff. Okay, yeah, sure.
Kind of, yeah. He does kind of make him Count Dooku, but he's not evil. Then we also had the same thing with the other lady. I think it's Lady Tefla, whatever her name. The lady with like this long red hair. She's also
Galadriel,
one of, like,
I think she's called.
Yeah, yeah. She's also one of like the previous Jedi that used to be like like at the academy until the incident happened. Until the horrible incident happened.
Oh yeah, the incident. Yeah.
I hate how they do that too. It's like the fact that it's just that he just killed his master. That's all it is. He killed his master, and it turns out the master was evil. Like we find out in the same episode that the same episode we find out Lajima killed his master. We also find out the master was like becoming a crime lord.
Yeah, it feels like there's not many consequences to things. There's some real idiot moments in this story. So one in particular, because it's straight out the gate, because the show begins with them being pursued by this guy who claims to be the last of the Sith. He's got his mask on, he's sort of cool, kind of typical Sith design. Nawam also is talking to him over a hologram and has we need another helmet because Darth Vader's only cool because he has a helmet. It's what these people seem to think. So, okay, we have that. They're being pursued. And they mention there must be some sort of tracker on the ship. And then we get a nice shot of tracker droid attached to ship. And they then deal with the pursuit in kind of an interesting way. They fly too close to a black hole. And they mention that the giant warship, the Star Destroyer analog that's coming after them, will find it much harder to escape the pull of the black hole rather than a tiny ship like theirs. I'm pretty sure Neil deGrasse Tyson is furious, but I'm like, as a casual viewer, that works enough for me. And I liked it as a moment. What they then have a kind of clever moment like that. And then they go cool, let's go to another planet. And when we're at that another planet, we'll take the tracker off. We won't then leave. We will stay where we took the tracker off, where the tracker is currently sitting in the garbage. And then later on, they sort of go, oh my God, we only took it off when we got here. That
how did they find
everyone immediately?
Yeah, no, all right. So I'm gonna admit, I thought the black hole thing was good. The problem I had is that they don't deal. They're not gonna. It's Star Wars. That why would they? But I'm like, you realize if you fly that close to a black hole, I watched Interstellar. You're losing 10 years of your life of time.
That's a very good point. To give me quite that scene happens, and then Nawam has already taken over the galaxy. They've been gone for 3 years. Yeah,
exactly. That would be a cool way to do a time jump. If turns out Nawam's already taken over the galaxy or something. But no. But regardless of that, they weren't gonna. That's fine. Whatever. No scientific accuracy in space or in Star Wars. I thought it was really cool that the dude in the Star Destroyer, the last of the Sith or whatever, he uses the Force to pull them out of the black hole. That was really cool.
It was all right. I don't know if it was a bit too much for me. Reminds me of, there's been this kind of power creep with the Force as Star Wars has gone on. You sort of think of how it used to be in the original trilogy, and the Force is kind of it's definitely there, and you can do things with it, but they're much smaller examples that we see there. And then as Star Wars has gone on, we've seen more ridiculous stuff. And you got to Force Unleashed, where you're pulling a Star Destroyer out of the sky, and now apparently this guy who is the last of the Sith, there's no one around to train him anymore, and everyone's forgotten the Jedi, but he's good enough to pull you out of the event horizon of the densest material in the universe. Sure, fine, okay, I guess we're doing that.
Power scaling has notoriously been bad in Star Wars, but I see your point. I think that because this is not a canon, this is just a side, its own little self-contained Star Wars story. Why not? Let's have the Force do crazy things. We have a dude who tempered kyber crystals to change color based on the person's mood. We have mood sabers now.
I think I can imagine people being mad, when you have things like Obi-Wan suggesting that Darth Vader gets tired if he uses the Force to stop one ship from leaving, so tired he can't stop another identical ship from leaving. Then, that being the fucking chosen one or whatever, I think people are going to be a bit upset that some rando is so much more powerful, presumably, than Darth Vader.
No, you're right. No, I see your point. That's the problem people had with Force Unleashed with it is it was cool to have all that power, but it was also dude, at a certain point, you're turning dudes to dust and shit like that. And it's even Darth Vader can't do that, and he's supposed to be the most powerful dude. Yeah. So I see what you're saying, but it is still cool to see. It was whatever. Why why not? Because we can't just lose one of our big baddies in the very first episode.
True.
Let me see. I one thing that bugged me about that guy, I forget his name. I think it's like Geno, something. The guy who ends up, he becomes like, he gets taken down by Jima at some point. Like we do see that Kara's father has been on their Star Destroyer with them. They bring him there because they need him for a kyber to like work on a kyber crystal, whatever he's doing, whatever he does. He needs to like stabilize a kyber crystal that they're using for their cannon, which we have to mention that as well. The fact that there's a fucking lightsaber or a kyber crystal cannon, which is essentially just another Death Star.
Yeah, we're doing that again. Sure, it's. I know. I can hear you. It's as if 1,000 like fanboys cried out at once. It rhymes, but it's a lot, my guys. You know, and like you say, it's a non-canon show. It's like a chance to do something different with Star Wars. You can, you know, sort of kind of go a bit buck wild, but buck wild is like, but what if this time it was just a gun? Okay.
Yeah. Like, what if we ditched the station and just had a gun? and then what happens? Like originally so the reason I bring all this up is because he like after all that happens, like the Jima is there. He takes out the Sith guy, and then the Sith guy gets like a Grievous, like a General Grievous style body, and it. Like another thing that seems kind of like, all right, so you have the Death Star, we got a Grievous style villain, we got like almost an Adam Driver kind of style character with a helmet on who takes it off and he's like, oh yeah, I wear the helmet to center my, or it's oh god, it's actually kind of more like the Acolyte. He does it, it's like I use it to center myself and make myself one with nothingness or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I don't think. I'd be surprised if many people like this character of Nawam. He seems not what we normally want in Star Wars, which I suppose is maybe a point in its favor. I was talking about doing something different. But he's just kind of so nothing. Like, you know, they get this thing of like, he's sort of very almost cold, I suppose. And his equivalent of from a certain point of view is that like he's like, oh no, what I'm doing, I'm actually good, I'm not a Sith, like I am doing all of this for the greater good. And people say like, no, you're overpowering people, like that is what a Sith does. And they convince themselves, yeah, you know, Plagueis thought this of like, oh, you have to bring about order through strength and through control. But he's not accepting that he's part of the dark side. He's like, no, this is what the light side is telling me to do.
Yeah, like, and as a result, his lightsaber turns blue. Like when he ignites one of the lightsaber he's holding, it doesn't turn red. He's holding one and it's blue, and it's like, what the fuck? How does he have a blue lightsaber? Because he thinks that he's the good guy.
Yeah,
which is interesting. Also, that means that it's not necessarily the lightsabers aren't necessarily channeling the Force. They're just channeling what's in the person's heart or what they think about themselves.
Yeah, another point that I'd be interested to see what more strict fans feel about it, because you know there've been a bunch of established rules to kyber crystals, and like correct me if I'm wrong, the red lightsaber is usually because of bleeding, like
yes.
or the opposite. Yeah, so because you have caused so much destruction, your crystal turns red. And the color is a reflection on you. Whereas here, they're mood rings. And that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, there's kind of mood sabers depending on if you're pissed off or not. And like we saw that in the very first thing, like with the guy who has the purple lightsaber, the Wookiee dude in this show. He has a purple lightsaber, but originally his lightsaber was red because he was like corrupted by the darkness of the other like Sith characters. So with that, I'm like, it definitely makes it seem like it's more of just, are you pissed off? Well, it's going to turn red, because that happens for Kara too. In episode 5, she ends up separated from the group and gets hunted by bounty hunters, and the bounty hunters like burn down a village, which pisses her off, and so she goes up to their ship and just completely annihilates the entire ship. And after which her lights, like, she goes back to the people and she's like, hey guys, it's all safe, you're good. And they're scared of her because her lightsaber has turned red without her even noticing it. Like,
yeah, and this whole thing of them being lightsabers that change color based on what's in your heart only becomes revealed in episode 6, to sort of cure her guilt of that. Like,
Mm.
so which suggests that she thinks that red lightsabers happen because you've done bad things. Almost like that she thinks that it works the way that we've been told it works with bleeding your crystal and stuff like that. And then they just kind of pull out this like, oh, actually, no, because your dad made these, your dad made special lightsabers because your dad is the best lightsaber maker, even though he's the first one for centuries.
In centuries. And but they somehow had lightsabers when he killed his master. And like, yeah, they also talk about like him like during that fight, he's like bleeding his crystal because his lightsaber turns from blue to red, and this is before like the tempering that like he, you know, him saber smithing or whatever. So I'm guessing that must be either he just has a special power to like, you know, mess with kyber crystals, because that's what it seems. Because again, during the whole reason that Jima is on the station with them is because he's supposed to like stabilize the crystal. Like it after the first time they fire it, it like goes it breaks or gets all like unstable, and he has to go over to it and like calm it down, you know. And
yeah,
I don't know what he does. He literally just puts his hand on it.
Yeah, no, you're right. That is exactly what it is. Yeah, which was it kind of interesting, I guess. You know, it was interesting seeing him like using the Force. There's like a moment where he kind of mends fractures within the crystal, like inside the crystal, and so you get these kind of cool shots of within the crystal and following the fishes. What he fixes, which was sort of nice, and I don't know. I thought if we're going to go down that route of we're making a Death Star canon, but it's just not a Death Star, capturing a Jedi who makes lightsabers to do that made sense, and that I was like, I'm down with this. I'm down with this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. All right, so I guess this is a good time to bring in this. We say we have the Caseman in here. Says most of us diehard fans knew this series had nothing to do with anything with Star Wars lore or usual rules. So it's just kind of its own. So that, I mean, that's kind of just the way to go about it. Is that it's like, oh, well, that's kind of a cool thing that you could do. Obviously, we're never going to see Luke Skywalker or Rey or, you know, anyone at Grogu or any other Jedi do anything like this. But it's just, you know, why not? Again, I think if I just had my way, though, I wish that they had gone. If they're going to do their own thing, then do your own thing, man. Don't just have recycled story bits. I think is this recycled story beats from old Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, I think that is one thing that I was a bit disappointed by. I'm known on this channel for saying I'm not that into anime, but it would have been interesting to see a Star Wars story doing some of the anime shenanigans, like some of the wilder things that anime can get up to, or even just the sort of incredible melodrama that anime is capable of. You know, if most of this season was just like a season of Dragon Ball Z, where like up to 5 episodes of the entire season were all just at the one location with them like standing around like a bad guy and slowly leveling up and like going in one by one and being defeated until like the child one does a really big lightsaber Kamehameha, that would have been kind of fun. Would have been interesting to see.
I'm like, I would like to see more of them trying to build the Jedi, like having these factions that are like trying to vie for power or whatever. I'm like, I didn't need to see oh, my master was evil, but you thought for the whole half of the season you thought I was evil, but it turns out my master was, so I killed him. And again, that's a bait and switch to me. It's like trying to make Jima seem like he's the bad guy, and then at the end of it being like, no, he's good. So we're just gonna and then also Juro, the character of Juro, they just kill him off on episode, I think 3 or 4. They kill him off pretty early on.
Yeah, episode 4. Yeah, it's sort of like the midway point of the season, because he dies, and then we get a time skip, so we get like an extra front crawl at the start of episode 5,
which is kind of the same thing. We have like our Obi-Wan Kenobi character gets murdered, and then a time skip happens, and now we're on Empire Strikes Back, which I think is kind of funny that there's an episode that's called The Jedi Strike Back.
Yeah. We also we get a few interesting decisions in that episode. for shits and giggles, what did you think of the new Gungans?
Oh yeah, I think that's the episode 5 where she's on like she gets separated from her group and she's on that like planet of like weird little Gungan people. I mean, they weren't racist.
Yeah, no, I'll give them that. That they communicated in the same way my dog communicates.
It's like growl, guttural sounds.
All those noises, and they have extendable fingers, which was interesting.
I mean, it was cool. I mean, it's never a bad thing to see a new alien race in a Star Wars show or in a Star Wars property. So I was down with that. I just thought that I guess it is kind of like still a copy if you think about it. But again, if they didn't say Misa, Yusa, Bombad or none of that crap.
No, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to sort of imply that it was, they're just doing this again. I agree with you. I was like, oh, cool, we got some new aliens. And I was like, oh, they're kind of like Gungans in terms of the idea of, a, what's the word? Slightly less technologically advanced race. They're not spacefaring. The Gungans were just water-faring, I guess you'd call it.
I'm curious, how did you feel about the characters we got? So I think I remember what you were talking about with the Lord of the Rings part, where it's at the very end, like all the different Jedi, like they all team up. It's Kara, Lajima, Ethan, and then a couple of other. I think there's like one of them is a bounty. One of the bounty hunters becomes a Jedi. Like, what did you think of that? Of like them having their own little fellowship of Jedi?
It was kind of interesting. There were some things that I feel like it would have been better to have brought them in earlier, to have done more with them. So the bounty hunter character, is it Beitu? Hang about, got to yell at some dog.
Oh, here we go. Oh no, we're gonna see in real time. Harrison have to go parent. Here we go. It's like, shut up. Nah, but I mean, so while he's gone, I'll just talk about it. I believe, that was Beto, and it happens like right after, like he's one of like the second in command or something like that. He gets taken out. Like it's the part where Kara starts like listening to the Force and like uses her Force. Oh my God! Look at that little fucking potato.
Look at this fucking dog. He's fucking dog. You tell them. You tell them what you did. What did you do?
Did he pee in the house?
No, you're just barking at people outside because the windows are open because it's fucking hot. And then they talk outside, and how dare they? So you bark at them.
He looks so ashamed.
And so you should be, Nif.
Nif. That's awesome. It's an awesome name, Nif.
Well, her name's Honey. But we decided that her full name... So my girlfriend calls her Honeybee. We decided that was short for Hunnifer Beatrice. Hunnifer changed to Niffer, and Niffer changed to Nif.
All right, rock on.
The Nif is her ring name in the WWE.
Nif. The Nif.
Oh my God, it's the Nif. The Nif coming out with a Nif 19. Rey Mysterio's up against the ropes. Sorry.
All right, gay.
I'm kidding. No, but that's funny. So all right, but yeah, the bounty hunter Jedi I was talking about, he shows up in episode 7, I think, just before the finale. Like he shows up when it's like when Kara starts like to become one with the Force or whatever, and she uses like the smoke screen, like she turns off her lightsaber and is able to like mask her body.
Yeah, and she sort of works out because she's captured by them. The villagers kind of turn her in because these bounty hunters are basically like, we're going to kill all of these villagers and we're going to kill your children if you don't hand us this Jedi. Thank you. And then there's a moment where they're having a conversation. The bounty hunter says, I like having fights with strong foes. That's why you were so disappointing. Mm-hmm. And they have a fight later. There's 2 bounty hunters, to be fair, and she just murks one of them in quite a cool fashion that I quite enjoyed. Mm. And then the other guy, she could kill him, but she doesn't. So she says, like, you're now indebted to my service, and he joins up. That's something that I think would have been more interesting earlier in the show. Mm. Like for a different kind of show. I think the better thing to do would be that happens earlier. You get these sort of adventures and bonding with them, this sort of unlikely pair of this bounty hunter and this Jedi kind of going through, and then we work our way towards the end. But it's a lot shorter than that, and he's just sort of like, oh yeah, sure, I'll turn up and shoot some
Yeah,
folks.
no, that's kind of the thing. He's like, he gets his buddy just gets killed, and he's just like, oh, okay, I'll just join you. I'll be your buddy. Like, I'll be your friend, and yeah, sure, why not? I always wanted to be a Jedi, which is like, do you even have force powers, dude?
It's a good question.
Like, they're just giving lightsabers out to just anyone.
I guess that's they got to recruit. So they're just like, yeah. It's like the 2008 financial crisis. They'll just give a mortgage out to anybody because they just need the numbers.
I mean, I guess, but yeah, they give it to the old guy, to like the leader of the city state, which he does show that he has like force powers because he force pushes a robot or something during the battle. I believe, yeah, the other lady, like I mentioned, you said the Galadriel character, she has force powers too, but I don't know if the minor guy does. Like when he even says, he's like, oh, I'm not strong enough in the force, and I think Juro is just like, you don't need to be strong enough in the force, you just need to do what's right. I'm like, what Ahsoka kind of bullshit is this?
So dead guy saying in 2008 I got a free mortgage and a lightsaber. Good times. Yeah,
I mean, I would take the lightsaber.
Obama was about to win the election. The world was changing,
and then went right back to the shit. Nah. But at any rate, yeah. But seriously, they're just giving, you get a lightsaber, and you get a lightsaber, you get a lightsaber. We all get lightsabers.
Everyone look under your chairs.
Yep. Audience members, look under your chairs. You get a lightsaber and a $500 gift certificate to Savers.
Ms. Winfrey, I don't want to. I've already got a lightsaber at home. I don't want to take this home.
I don't need the tax. It's like, I don't need the taxes on this.
They won't let me take this on the plane.
That is true. Yeah, you couldn't. But Darth Oprah. Darth Oprah. But so Dead Guy, I'm curious. Did you watch the Ninth Jedi, or have you seen it yet? And if so, what do you think? And while we're waiting on that, let me see. What other parts was there in this show? I think I mentioned it before we got on, is that I just think that this show should have been in a movie. It didn't really have like the story to warrant 8 episodes,
Yeah, it's fairly simple. I think you could do the beats within a movie pretty comfortably. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in it that I could tell you, oh yeah, no, that wouldn't you wouldn't have been able to build that up in the amount of time that the movie has, because like I say, they still do things quick. They reveal like, oh, there's some dark past about her father. Oh, actually, it was fine. Like in 20 minutes. So it doesn't take that much time, and you could build these in better and maybe structure it and make it a bit tighter if you just had it as a film.
Exactly. Or they didn't even do, like, if they had waited 1 episode, so they have the whole thing of like, oh, he killed his master, and if they had done like the next episode, she gets onto the space station, finds her father, and he has to be the one to tell her why he did it or something like that. Maybe she doesn't trust him for an episode, or he has to like earn her trust back because she's like, is he evil? But they didn't do any of that. They just immediately, like you said, they make this reveal, and then it's like, no, it's cool. He's good. So
yeah, don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Yeah, so I feel like it's, if nothing else, it's rushed, but yeah, like the story, it also could just be like an hour and a half, 2-hour movie, and we could have called it a day. We didn't need to have an 8 episode series, and it makes me kind of wonder if this series is going to get a second season.
Maybe. Yeah, I would hope not. I mean, I don't want to spoil it too much for people like a Dead Guy, but with the way the show ends, I suppose it ends with them sort of looking very much to the future and what they can do, and there are characters within it that I guess you could say their stories aren't necessarily finished. You could potentially do more with these characters, like one in particular, like has to grow and change significantly, I think, to continue on and maybe have some sort of redemption arc. But I would be surprised if we saw another season of this. I'd be surprised if this has been received very well by anybody. I mean, Caseman said it of just sort of, it's fine. It doesn't really do anything new.
Yeah. there's nothing new about the series, but the style of animation and the lightsabers changing colors. Like, there's nothing really like new from Star Wars. They had a lot of cool potential. Like the saber smithing was cool. The like capture, like the launching a thing up in the air to grab a kyber crystal rock out of the atmosphere. Like, that's awesome. Never seen anything like that before. But then they ended up bringing this series, and I'm just like, it's pretty by the number. Like, again, there's a couple of cool parts. They show some cool stuff you can do with the Force, like when Kara becomes like gets a little stronger in the Force and everything. But I don't know. I would give it a watch, but I don't know if I necessarily am going to watch it a second time or ever again.
Yeah. I was thinking about the show. I also feel like it's got a big cast in terms of, say, you start it out and you have what, like 5 or 6 of your kind of core group, because you've got like Joru and you've got Ethan, you've got Kara, and you've got the Wookiee guy, and you've got Gramps the droid. Mm-hmm. Is there someone else there? And they keep adding to that, and I was like, I feel like we don't do much with this ensemble cast. But like, there are things where I'm like, I feel like I didn't really see anything of the big Wookiee guy really doing much. He was just with other people.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't do much. Let me see. Ethan, he goes. So we have a part where Ethan goes on like a reconnaissance mission. Like he joins like Nawan's army goes like undercover. But that doesn't really go anywhere. He finds Lajima for like a second, and then gets told like, "Hey, you need to get out of here, man. This is dangerous," and does. And then like it's not really, doesn't really go anywhere, and it feels like a waste of the voice actors that they got. Like, it feels like
a waste of one dude. Was there one dude who like seems kind of cool? It looks like he has like maybe a Beskar spear, who gets like caught and dies.
That was something that was interesting. Is just like he either mistakes him as so that was something I thought was weird. Is that either the bad guy mistakes him as a Jedi? He's like, "Oh, you're a masterless Jedi," and the guy never like denies it. He's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," and takes out his spear. So maybe he is just a Jedi that went there, but we never learn anything about this guy. He just gets killed immediately, just so we can have that fake tension of like, "Oh no, did Ethan get caught?"
Yeah. And I was kind of sad. I don't know why. I really like the Beskar spear. I want to see more of it. I think it's so cool.
So it says Obsession did this ensemble cast right. They had 4 friends to focus on, and that was it. And they just focus on those 4 people. So that's smart. Yeah, that's good. And at this one, they focus too much on other people.
Yeah, like you can do an ensemble cast, but it has to be a story kind of built for an ensemble cast. But like when Kara is separated from them, it then just kind of becomes Kara's show. Like, and it sort of was already, but we then don't even have them around in the background and have them like helping her out. We have just a big chunk of, oh no, it's just kind of her on her own. So yeah, I feel like they could have done more with something like that. And maybe it's that thing of that might work better for a more traditional anime kind of show in terms of like how it's structured, it's a dreaded thing to say, but like One Piece is a big enough show and gets enough episodes that they can all have plots with different characters, and you can sort of jump around and focus on different people at different times.
So that would be amazing if we could get the 9th Jedi with like 1,000 episodes. It's just like, turns out the fight between Nawam and Kara takes like 10 episodes to get through, and then we have to have like a filler episode, and then we're gonna do another 10 episode fight. Because Nawam didn't beat her. He just like he knocked her out a little bit. She had to run away, and then she got stronger somehow because she learned something. She had a flashback and learned something from that.
yeah. It's that kind of structure. Like I say, personally, anime version. I'm comparing anime to anime, and I haven't watched the anime. I sure as fuck haven't watched the live action version. Like, I just know about One Piece because it is a disease that has spread across all things. Go into like a forbidden planet, and I'm going to see a ton of One Piece stuff. Like, I'm just aware of it and kind of how it's structured.
We're gonna find them. We're gonna find moon men someday, or like aliens one day, and they're gonna have a straw hat flag sitting on their goddamn ship.
They really fucking are. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, but like, if they wanted to do something like that, I honestly would have been down for another. If they had given us, a 10 episode, a 12 episode thing, and done it a weekly or a couple of weeks, every week episode, I would have been happy about that, because then at least we would have gotten like, oh, this episode could be about Ethan, this episode could be about Wookiee guy, this episode could be about Kara. But yeah, it seemed that they wanted to very much focus on Kara, which makes sense because she's the 9th Jedi, but. Again, why have this ensemble cast then? Should have just spent the whole episode. You should have spent the whole like series with her on her own, like separated from the group.
Yeah. That would have made more sense to me. And it's weird. I feel like it's so strange that I've watched an eight episode show and I feel like I don't have much to say about it. It's very odd to me.
Because just not a lot happens.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to mention is the lightsaber color changing. So we get, like, obviously we have the green, blue, whatever, but we get to see this new one that is silver, which looks kind of cool in animation. It looks weird, translucent kind of thing going on, and it's supposed to symbolize like them being like nothingness, or like them being like I guess a nihilist.
Yeah, or like a Zen state was sort of what I took from it, like a. Yeah, you're just kind of, your mind is empty and you're mindful and you're not thinking other things. You're not being influenced by any emotions.
I guess, yeah, because you're singular minded of like, and his thing was just to take over the galaxy. So yeah, like she got one too. Like by the end, Kara ends up having her lightsaber turn silver as well, but only because I guess her purpose is just to stop him. Like I'm really confused on what the rules are to turn your lightsaber silver.
Yeah. No. I guess in a way it's like Jedi enlightenment. It feels very Buddhist to me. So maybe you could turn it silver by just sitting under a tree for a long enough time.
Become an airbender, and suddenly you're able to like. If anyone watched Legend of Korra, like you become an airbender and suddenly you become like this like mystical guru guy.
I mean, yeah, might work.
That was the season 3. I think the bad guy he got airbending powers and just suddenly was like, oh yeah, this one guru that I used to study fucking. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, wasn't that the character that was played by the singer of Black Flag, Henry Rollins, I believe.
I believe so. Yes. I think Gil would be an orange lightsaber kind of guy. Why is that? What do you think? What about me gives off the orange lightsaber vibe? And Harry, I think you'd be a dark saber. You'd definitely be. That thing would pop up and people would be like, "Whoa."
I mean, maybe, I don't know. A bit of me would like to. I don't know whether a dark saber would work like it. If I could have a black lightsaber, just so like I can make things glow, that'd be fun.
So a black light. So you mean like a purple lightsaber, but it shines black light?
Yeah. So like I can like have a bunch of velvet paintings and glow in the dark shit.
A UV lightsaber. That would be actually. That might actually be kind of the shit.
I've got a black light cabinet downstairs that I've hooked up a bunch of UV LEDs because we have a uranium glass collection where if you shine a UV light on it, it glows. And we're looking for various other things that glow. Supposedly, certain types of bones do. We haven't managed to get hold of them yet. Apparently, duck bones sometimes can react to UV light.
That's nuts.
And certain squirrel bones, but the ones that I've got didn't. So I don't know. Maybe I ruined them.
Certain squirrel. It's like, oh no, but the squirrels I have, they didn't seem to. Yeah, like got all of them in the neighborhood all rounded up, and none of them glow.
So yeah. I don't know, but that'll be what I'd go for.
That would actually be kind of cool, though. I like that idea of a UV light, black light, or a lightsaber. Like, I don't even know how that would work, but that'd be cool.
I just like the idea that it's like a Jedi temple, but like the carpet is like the one in an arcade.
Oh god. Also, it's like Master Windu. You got like get stuff all over your. It's like I'm gonna use a lint roller real quick.
Yeah, we have loads of lint rollers in this temple. Come over here.
See all the dog hair all over him. All right. I don't know. I wanted to say more about it, but there's not really a whole lot more to like talk about. I mean, I guess what would you rate this episode or this show? What would you rate the show out of it? Because I'm giving it a pretty low one. It seems like I think 2, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, I think I'm vibing with that. Like weirdly, I think you mentioned in the comments about when the Batman fan asked whether it's better than the Acolyte. I honestly am not sure it is, because like it's that thing of like the Acolyte. At least I had a reaction to the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could go back and hate watch the Acolyte and have fun with someone, like talking about how bad the Acolyte is. You know, like have a couple of beers and we could laugh at it. I don't think I could do that with this. I wouldn't waste someone's time with this show. I think this is really a show of like if you really love the anime aesthetic and you love how it's animated, then all the power to you. Enjoy it. You know, I think there is something to enjoy, but it feels just a bit kind of paint by numbers. It just feels a bit sort of like uninspired, and it's just like, yeah, it's just what it is.
I'd say if you're younger, like if you're a younger audience, you might be into this. This might be your kind of thing, especially because it's anime, the animation style and the way it's animated and the way it's done. That looks all fine. Like I have seen nothing about the style that I don't like or about the art style. But yeah, as far as the story beats, I'm like, this feels like something for a kid, like something that the kid's gonna watch and be like, oh, that was so cool. And it's like, yeah, I got better stuff for you, but you're too young.
Go back in a couple of years. We'll watch Death Note. It'll be fine.
Ooh, okay. So he says, what about Star Wars Visions? Do you recommend going back to watch that?
I mean,
season 1, yes.
Yeah, I would say yes. Like I think Star Wars Visions has enough variety in it, and even if you don't particularly vibe with one episode, you might vibe with the next one, and each one is genuinely trying to do something different. I feel like I think that's my thing with the Ninth Jedi. I feel like the only thing it's doing different is, like you said, Casement. It's just the animation style, whereas like the story and how we tell that story is all kind of the same. But whereas Star Wars Visions, they're changing up how we tell the story and having really dramatic differences in animation style. You know, like the Ninth Jedi looks like most other anime, whereas the Duel is really highly stylized and is very anime, but like not every anime, if that makes sense.
But it's meant to look like a Kurosawa film. Like it's not meant to look like anime necessarily. All right, so how I would say it is that it kind of looks like very much like shonen kind of Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. It's very, like you said, paint by the numbers as far as like how the style looks. But there's nothing wrong with it. There's a reason that all of those shows are considered like the goats or like the best animes, is because they're so popular, because people they like the you know, they like that style, they like that kind of stuff. But the story is just not there.
Yeah. And 885 Batman fans, it sounds like the Star Wars version of Batman, Gotham Knight, or the Animatrix. Yeah, basically. Yeah, and I think it's good. I think Star Wars Visions is worth a watch for that.
Okay. So yeah, no. We're talking about. I thought I was going back to this, but yeah, the Star Wars Visions is like just like again, depending on which short you're watching. Yeah, it's great, and saying that it's like Gotham Knight or Animatrix is a good shout. That's exactly, or maybe more closely like Halo Legends, if you ever watched that, because it's like, yeah, it's an anthology series. It takes place in this universe, but it has none of the episodes have anything to do with each other, and they're all like, again, heavily stylized. They're all really cool. Some are better than others, but I would say Star Wars Vision. If you're gonna watch one of these two, like whether it be Ninth Jedi or the original Star Wars Visions, watch Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, go and check that out, because like, and there are things in it that will surprise you. I think it might be in season 2 where you get the Aardman episode, and there's another stop motion episode they do. There's some episodes that I didn't like that much, but were at least trying to do something, like what's the one with the band? The like Tatooine.
Yeah, the musical episode where they go play like for like Jabba or something like that.
Yeah, because they're playing at a pod race. There's that episode about the dancer that's really cool. Or is it an opera?
I think you're right. It was like an opera or like a singer or something, but it's supposed to be like the French Revolution kind of style of stuff, because it's made by a French company.
Yeah, it was a really good episode. Yeah. So yeah,
or not French.
your mileage
French
will
resistance.
vary on different episodes, but I think overall they will show you something new and something interesting. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, and if you recognize any of the animation companies that do, like you said, Aardman, those are the guys who do Wallace and Gromit, and their pod race story is, while goofy and ridiculous, and obviously not anything have anything to do with the actual Star Wars. It is a good episode, and it was pretty funny. All right, fuck it. Let's answer questions from 885th. Says, how much did the Mandalorian Grogu film disappoint you? Did it disappoint you as much as Ninth Jedi? No, actually. I think that one was much better. And while I think that I mentioned that the opposite for Mandalorian is I think that Mandalorian as a movie should have been a series, and this as a series should have been a movie. Like, they should have released this in theaters as an hour and a half movie, just a movie that way, and then they should have released another season of Mandalorian and made whatever happened in Mandalorian Grogu that. So I'm gonna say no. I liked Mandalorian Grogu. I don't know, Harrison. Have you seen it yet?
No, I still haven't seen that one yet.
Oh my god! I think it's on streaming now.
Is it?
Pretty sure.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'll have to confirm that, but I'm going to confirm it before the end of this podcast. And when I do, I'm like, you have to go see it before. You have to watch it before. But we're not going to review it or talk about it, but you have to watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's on there. Oh no, wait, no, it's okay. It's coming on September 2nd. You're safe. You're safe for now.
All right, fine. No.
It's really not that bad. I liked it. Caseman says, I'm really not into anime at all, so wasn't my thing. Mando and Grogu should have been another series instead of a movie. Again, agreed. All right, so I guess, you know what? Here, I'll ask you this. What would you change about it? Or how would you make this story better? Like, let's pitch me a better Ninth Jedi.
Okay, right. So I think you need to start looking at the unique elements of this story. So the fact that we're far in the future, the fact that the Jedi have kind of disappeared, and this is an attempt to rebuild them. So I think what would be more interesting for me is a more kind of smaller, scrappier Jedi Order. I think having yet another Force user with a giant fleet of droids or ships or whatever trying to take over the galaxy, I think is a bad move. I think what you should do is take a look at a smaller story. So I don't know, pick they're trying to prove that they can be a force of good, and they're trying to prove they can be a force of change. So that they've gone to a planet that's being run by a warlord or crime lord, so maybe a Jabba style character.
Yeah.
And then sort of maybe take it on an element of actually they don't really know how to do this yet, and they've got lightsabers and they've trained in the Force a little bit, but they actually don't understand what it's like to be an order of Jedi and to try and be like a governing power or and a good influence in the galaxy. So actually they're kind of fucking it up a little bit.
So yeah, so exactly, kind of show them having to learn how to become the Jedi Order again, and just they're testing and checking and failing along the way.
Yeah, and even character, rather than having Joru being your sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi character who's ultimately wise and he's always got the answer, and if only you could talk to him right now, he'd let me know what to do. He's also actually, I've never done this. and they have to sort of find things from other people and other places and learn from some mistakes.
I kind of like that idea because again, we can kind of explore the universe a little more, like what it looks like without Jedi, and we don't need Sith. Let's just have bounty hunters or warlords or gangsters or whatever. Let's just have each little planet has its own little problems that have to be dealt with, and just have the Jedi going across and all the while they're spreading the legend of the new Jedi. That'd be kind of cool. I'd be down with that.
I mean, and you could maybe do something where you could take it a little bit imagine Star Trek kind of when they're starting the Federation of Planets,
Mm.
And you know how Star Trek will have these storylines sometimes of like, oh, we've found this new this new planet. They have made first contact. You know, they've started to do faster than warp travel or whatever it is. So now we need to reach out and say, hey, do you want to join the Federation? And like they're turning up to planets and being like, hey, do you want to subscribe to the Jedi Order, and you could get your own Jedi, and you know, like maybe a member of your royal family or something will train as a Jedi, and we can create this network, and it's all about kind of convincing people that they are actually a real thing and they're not just a bunch of posers.
I love the idea of, would you like to subscribe to the Jedi Order? It's like, would you like a monthly subscription that gets you protection from the Jedi? You get your own lightsaber, and it comes with its own, like, we'll give you a loot box every month.
You get this keychain. The keychain has a phone number on it. If you call us on that, then we'll come round when anything goes wrong.
Yeah, no, I love that. Make sure you like and subscribe. So here 885 says, do you think Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic should be explored as an animated series? Yes. 100%, 110% yes. I think the fact that they haven't done a Revan like animated anything or anything, honestly, like, it doesn't have to be animated, it could be live action. The fact that they haven't done a Knights of the Old Republic anything, you're just leaving the money on the table, guys.
Yeah, like you could do so many things. Hell, just do the adventures of AK-47? HK. Do the adventures of HK. Do like a little, like, slightly darker comedy series about him being this incredibly snarky psychopath. It would be great. Everyone would love it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like, do something like that. Do a Bastila show. Do something like, you don't even have to do with Revan itself. Just do something in the Knights of the Old Republic story. Like all the video game events are happening over here, and then this is what's happening over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's that? The Twilight girl and her Wookiee friend.
Oh, Mission in Zalbar.
Yeah, like something like that. You know, of sort of before they run into Revan. You know, before they get to all of that. Like they had an interesting story of like this Wookiee was just taking care of this teenage girl, and you know they were living in the Undercity. Like, let's see what happens. Like, there's stories to tell there.
Canderous Ordo, like to have a whole Mandalorian story about that guy, but he's like a warlord rather than just like a bounty hunter or something. I'm like, dude, there's a lot you could do there, and they choose not to, and it bugs me.
Yeah, remake the Mel Gibson movie, and which itself was a remake of the old TV show of Maverick, but it's Pazak instead of poker. Like, just anything. There are so many ideas you guys could do.
That's actually that. You know, I'd be down for that. Just like a card shark in a fucking in some like cantina somewhere, gets his legs busted by some fucking by a hut.
Yeah, so much that could be done.
So treat it like the new Resident Evil movie. It takes place during KOTOR, but it's not Revan or the Exile. Kind of. The way I did see that the new Resident Evil movie takes place in Raccoon City, but it has nothing to do with like Leon or Claire or anything like that. But it also looks like it has very little to do with Raccoon City.
Yeah, the trailer doesn't scream Resident Evil. Like some of the things that we're seeing in the trailer look weird. Oh, do you know what I did watch today? I watched Return to Silent Hill today. That is
why?
Because I like Silent Hill and I kind of like the first movie. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything incredible, but I got less. I got less than I thought I was going to get. And weird thing, it was really strange. It was like they did like a shot-for-shot remake of sections of Silent Hill 2, but then with tiny weird differences that I didn't understand. Like, instead of the monsters that are like the mannequin monsters that are two legs of a mannequin stuck together and they can like flip around and stuff like that, instead it was a spider lady where like a woman like turns into like a naked woman, grows extra limbs and becomes like a weird spider, but like the spider is made up of the rest of her. So like the spider abdomen at the back is just like her butt.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird, and she flips upside down, so like where its eyes are her boobs. It's really strange, and I'm like, why did you do that? We had a monster already. We could have just done that. It's very weird.
That sounds weird. So real quick, I wanted to bring this since we're talking about Star Wars, and since D23 happened, I think last week or this weekend.
Oh, yes.
We got some stuff. I didn't realize that the new Ahsoka trailer dropped, so I figure since we ran out of things to talk about with the Last Jet or the Ninth Jedi, let's do this real quick. If you're up, let me. Let's do that. There we go. Let's add that to the stage. So I'm just gonna do what we normally do as far as like the movies, and I'm sorry if you can't see it, but you should be able to hear it, I believe. So let me know if you can.
Tell me so.
Yeah or nay? Okay, you can. Okay,
yes.
cool.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're just gonna shut up for a second and let the 1.5-minute trailer play, and we'll see.
Tell me, Ahsoka. What troubles you? I'm always walking by your side.
Citizens of the glorious empire, I have returned. I took an oath to protect the empire. I therefore declare war on the Rebel Alliance.
I had a vision.
What did you see?
More and more danger than I thought.
Balin claimed to have knowledge of a power.
Master!
One that could end wars.
A long time ago, I walked away from the Jedi.
This is your trial, Ahsoka. Take your time to decide. Are you a Jedi? Or not?
Huh.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Okay. So we got that continuing. We I remember talking about Ahsoka, and when we were watching the show, talking about the powers that Balin mentioned, potentially being like, what are they called? Like the father and the sister and the brother, or something like that.
Yeah. Yes. So there was an episode they talked about the Mortis stuff like that, and we do see I think on this planet we do see like Mortis like imagery when we like in the first season of Ahsoka. So it could be that. One thing I like is that we get this dude right here. I'm gonna put that on stage. We get this dude with like the new like it's like a double-bladed lightsaber, but it's also like it transforms, and like that's kind of cool. I'm kind of about that. Like I'm it's a new version of a lightsaber, and I'm kind of about how they're gonna play around with him fucking with it like that. Because I feel like that's kind of cool. Because you maybe you could end up turning it into like a staff, or like you could turn it into a bow staff or some shit like that.
Yes, yeah, because I remember having a desperately nerdy conversation with someone years ago where they were complaining about Darth Maul's lightsaber being that the whole point of a bow staff is you can use the entire length of it, but with Darth Maul's lightsaber you can't use the middle.
Yeah, so like they're gonna try to chop it in half, and he's gonna go and like be like, not of this one, motherfucker. But we got that. So this is I'm guessing it's gonna be a flashback to the Clone Wars because that's still young Ahsoka. We get like what Caseman says. We get a lot of B-wings and like and crazy space battles. Like we get this, whatever this is, with the Night Sister. Like I'm kind of it looks pretty cool. Like I think that they're going in a good direction with Star Wars, or at least with live action Star Wars now.
Yeah, man, I'm interested to see what it does. I do remember finding Ahsoka kind of slow when we watched it, but it did have some cool ideas in it. You know, the fact that we got like the dead Star Troopers that have been sort of kept alive by the Night Sisters. Their cool fixed armor was quite nice. And yes, having the Mortis come into live action could be really interesting.
Like, I think it'd be cool to. So when it happened, I think the sister and the brother both died, but the father is still running around, I believe. So it'd be kind of cool to have him show up, or something like to do with it, because it makes it seem like we're going to be like based off of this kind of stuff, based off of what we're getting. Like, it'd be kind of cool. It'd also be cool, like, since we were talking about KOTOR a minute ago, like if the ultimate power in the galaxy was like the Star Forge or something like that, or like something to do with the Rakatan or Rakatan Empire.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Like, it looks like looks like the production value has significantly increased. And then, I mean, also we get this scene right here where we're gonna have Huyan. Here, let me put it up. Him doing all like going all Grievous and having like 4 lightsabers at once. I think I'm down for more David Tennant.
No, yeah. I've been watching Good Omens at the moment, and I've been enjoying my David Tennant.
Oh, that's such a good show.
Mm.
We also get Ezra Bridger fighting what I'm assuming is another Night Sister with like a magic sword, which that's fucking just cool. Like, whenever we have the Force, which is supposed to be like, you know, some mystical, like, religious thing. But I always love when we have like, oh, well, there's also magic, or there's also like dark force. Like, we have lightsabers too, but they're made of evil fire.
It does. Unfortunately, it does make me far more interested. like when I see, I'm like, yeah, what the hell's this? What's this shit? None of this fucking like, oh, the Force has an influence and moves in mysterious ways. Like, nah, bitch, it's fucking magic.
It's like darkness, magic.
Yeah.
And whatever this guy is, I'm like, again, I'm all about. I'm like, it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna bring up the other stuff, but I also saw that they showed like the first trailer of Jedi Starfighter, or of a Star Wars Starfighter, which has Ryan Gosling in it.
Yeah,
so
it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a good couple of years for Star Wars, I think, or at least I hope. I hope it's something got to be better than the Acolyte, guys. You can't leave it on that.
I'm interested to see, because in that trailer, I don't know, because I forgot his name, but the actor who played Balin died, and did he get recast? Oh yeah, I think he did. Because isn't it going to be the Hound? Well, at some point they said it was going to be.
Balin's skull recast. I think. Yeah. All right, so yeah, it looks like he's been recast with Game of Thrones star Rory McCann, who, yes, in fact, is the Hound.
Okay, that's because I just noticed that in that trailer, I don't know, the only reference to him being, oh, Balin said this. I was like, is he actually going to still be alive?
That is a good question. They could kill him off screen, or I was going to say, like, this could be Balin right here, like the guy who has. Like they show,
yeah, that's probably better. Yeah,
but watch, they're just gonna have him in these like snowy scenes so that you can barely see his fucking face.
I mean, I'm a little bit like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Rory McCann being in the show and not being able to say the C word.
You fucking cunt.
Bunch of cunts.
Yeah. Fuck water, more wine.
Like, he's one of my favorite characters in that whole show.
Oh, he's so great. He has the best arc in that show too. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I'm down to see it. I feel like they're gonna try to do some trickery where either they do use like makeup to make him look as much like the other actor. I forget his name. Ray Stevenson. Yeah. Try to make him look as much like that as he can. Or they're gonna try to do some like trickery where they have him in like snowy mountains, or they have him in fog all the time. Like, they're going to try to do something that they're going to take as much attention away from the recast as possible, it seems. Or at least that's what I'm guessing.
They could do the Iron Man thing and just like never really mention it.
Just the Don Cheadle, and just never say a thing. But people don't like that anymore. Back before the MCU was a big thing, that you could get away with that. Now you have to have Harrison Ford be like, "Oh yeah, I lost the mustache. I look totally different now." It's like, because that's what they did in the Captain America with Red Hulk. He's just like, "Yeah, they told me lose the mustache or lose the election. Now I can't recognize myself." And it's like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, that's the only difference, buddy. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's not the fact that we're watching Indiana Jones, but All right. So the Andor did a recast and didn't call attention to it. With who? Who did they recast in Andor?
Yeah, who did the recast in Andor?
Yeah, because I don't remember. Maybe Mon Mothma, but I don't remember them ever recasting anyone in Andor. But either way, I'm sure they'll figure it out. And regardless of what they do, we have to deal with it. Ray Stevenson is dead. We can't. It's not. Oh.
Right. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah.
That's right, Bail Organa. I completely fucking forgot that they recast. I kind of forgot Bail Organa was in that show, to be honest.
Yeah. To be fair,
which might be because Jimmy Smits wasn't in it, but that's Anywho, yeah. So fair enough. You're right. They have recast characters before, and we all just kind of got over it. And apparently, some of us just forgot about it. So, all right. So I don't know. I think we're ready. This might be an early episode today. Is there any last things you wanted to bring up before we?
Not Star Wars related. 185th Batman fan has mentioned about the X-Men casting. I don't know if I wanted to talk about that.
Oh yeah, actually, I did have that. Screw it. Why not? I was gonna save that for next week when we talk about X-Men 97, the finale.
That would make so much sense.
Like, I know everyone's talking about it right now because the showcase, but I'm like, I figure we talk about it next week because that's when we're going to be actually having an X-Men conversation.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I follow you on that, rather than shoehorn it into this Star Wars episode. Yep. I'll just be quiet.
Nah, I appreciate you. I understand that you like X-Men far more than you like Star Wars. It's and believe me, there's a lot I want to say about X-Men 97 with next week. There's 3 episodes that were wildly different from my expectations.
Oh, okay.
But at any rate, I don't know. I think we might be ready to wrap it up here, guys. Harrison, you got any stuff you wanted to plug real quick before we go?
Yeah, no, nothing much now. Working on things, keep an eye on various places. I keep an eye on here, keep an eye on Dead Guy's channel if you haven't already signed up there, because we're doing some work with him. And yeah, stay frosty.
Yes, indeed. And damn, it's fuck it. We'll end it with a 20-second teaser of hang on. It's not even really a teaser. It's a title sequence. So never mind. There is no teaser. We have nothing for Starfighter. That's it. We're done. Party on, Garth.
What up, my guys?
And so yeah, why is Empire Strikes Back the best Star Wars movie? It's short answer. It's not. Return of the Jedi is.
It is. It is the best one because it's the best made one. That's why. It's just.
Well, I don't know about that. We don't have time for that. We will come back to Harrison's bad take next week. But at any rate, this has been the Fulcrum Entertainment Podcast. Thank you guys all for being here. Thanks to Caseman, to 885th Batman fan, and of course to Dead Guy for being here. Go check out Dead Guy's channel because yes, we have various voice work and collaborative projects that we have on his channel. And yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, comment below. Check out our other videos. Check out Harrison's H.P. Lovecraft audiobook or audio stories. Check out my cosplay videos, and check out all the other stuff that we have on here. Mostly podcast episodes, but and then yeah, thank you of course to our Fulcrum Council member Peaky for being a member. You are awesome, and we appreciate you, man. So, but until next time, I have been Gilbert.
I've been Harry.
And this has been the Fulcrum Entertainment Podcast. We will see you guys next week with our X-Men 97 review. And until next time, remember, we are all Fulcrum. Bye, everybody.